Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, we are here for the talk between a Gen Z
and the millennial.
I am Sydney125. I'm here to represent the questions presented by the Gen Z.
And my name is Jesse. I'm here to represent the questions presented by the millennials.
So, in today's episode, I would like to ask Jesse to expound more on how agriculture will employ Gen Z and the millennials.
So basically, agriculture is our strength as Africans because we have the land that is agriculturally productive, and the world out here is a big marketplace that we can use to employ the Gen Zs. How we can do this is by automating agricultural processes in our country, by using modern technology to employ more people into agriculture. For example, we are going to employ engineers, mechanical engineers, to start employing the use of high-capacity tractors to till big capacities of land, or in turn use small capacity tillers that can be used to make productive small pieces of land. That is what we have in the rural sectors, so that any person who has a small piece of land, it can turn into productivity, and also set up agri-processing zones whereby we can have value addition done to agricultural produce, and this way we can take advantage of surpluses and maybe dry food for the future, so that when we have drought in the future, we have bumper food to ensure that we are not poor to borrow food and stuff like that. And because we have surpluses, we are able to export our produces. Therefore, we employ people locally, and Gen Zs can use things like drones to inspect their farms, and that can make it more economical, more efficient, use less labor in terms of productivity, and allow the market to grow in terms of consuming even the same products that we produce for ourselves.
How do you think the government would help to suffice and make it easier on the Gen Zs and the millennials in such an endeavor, considering the fact that we need good fertilizer, we are still under a lot of corruption.
Yes.
People are giving fake fertilizer.
Yes.
The prices are a bit high. They were reduced a little bit a while ago. But at the same time, if you're not getting quality for your money, you end up spending more. So what do you think the government can do to assist the Gen Zs and the millennials?
So you see, basically how the government does this is by allocating resources in the budget to the agricultural sector. In our last interview, I indicated that I'd allocate close to 45% of our resources. If you look at the 45%, if you break it down, the resources that enable the agricultural sector to grow. There's basic infrastructure that is required for agriculture to flourish. For example, you need road infrastructure to open up rural markets where the production happens, and to create linkages between the farm and the markets. If you look at a road does not come on its own. It comes with electricity, it comes with water, and that opens up that particular economy. There are more goods and services that are going to be available for sale, and also just for the people to grow there, to make them more productive. You find that the transport sector is going to grow. There are going to be drivers who are going to be employed to transport the goods and services. The fuel industry is going to benefit. The mechanics are going to benefit. We are going to have people, because of value addition, we are going to have marketers to sell the produce that we have. So you see, Gen Zs are going to come in to be employed in a diverse manner, because it's going to open up different sectors that have been sleeping giants in our country. You find that because there's a new road somewhere, Maybe a customer comes all the way from Nairobi, goes to a rural market in the interior parts of our country. They'll need accommodation to sleep. Somebody from the locality there can build up somewhere for that person to sleep. Someone else can provide a nice meal for them. So these are new industries that pick up just because you've opened up the agricultural sector in that economy by opening up a road. So you've allocated a few resources to the road network, a few resources to the electricity, so that if there is value addition, if there's a new industry that is going to come up in that locality, and when you industrialize a rural area, you create jobs there. Yeah, so that value addition is going to create more employment. It's going to create more products to come out of that area. And also products don't come on their own, they come with services as well. So you find that we are going to find the transport business is going to grow, because you're going to find the border people are going to find people to carry. The public transport is going to find people to carry from, customers to carry into their market to come and buy their produce. It's diverse. Teachers, there are new schools that are going to come up, because the people in that locality are now making more money. So they want to take their kids to better schools. They want to buy uniform, school uniform. They want their teachers who are now going to be available to teach their kids. There are going to be services like medical services available. There are going to be hospitals. Kinyosis are going to come up. So if you look at how it opens up the economy slowly by slowly, there's going to be a small shop opened up to sell you your soap, your fast-moving consumer goods, everything you need every day. All these people are going to come up. A butchery is going to come up to sell you your kanyama there.
Sell you kanyama.
The Kamturaga is going to find a...
Now, let me ask you, considering the fact that we've now, the president rejected the finance bill, the fact that you're saying we should put 45% into agriculture, do you think, as an economist,
yes,
with our current, climate or economic climate, do you think it's feasible for us to use 45% on agriculture?
So
considering our debts and
So this is an investment to spur economic growth. When we open up an interior, it means that that place is going to be now economically viable. There's going to be more money exchanging hands. And the more the money exchanges hands, there are going to be more people with spending power. The more people you have with spending power, they're going to spur growth in terms of goods and services that are going to be produced and manufactured. Therefore, that growth is what is going to spur more money to be available in the economy, even for you to tax in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you want to tax people more, create the opportunities so that they can create more resources for you to tax. Yes.
So, in your opinion, how should we deal with tribalism going forward?
Yeah, I believe that no particular tribe in our country should occupy more than 10% of employment opportunities in any particular company or state corporation, or just public utility, public outfit. Reason being that this locks out other people who are equally capable of, doing the same role through merit, and it allows for healthy competition, and allows for us to have the best people for the best jobs in our country. And it will be a best opportunity for us to bring out the best in us, because you find that tribalism has locked out qualified people from being able to showcase their capabilities and how good they have been able to be blessed to, provide their knowledge and expertise to grow the country. So many people have wanted to grow our nation, but they have been locked out to tribalism. So if we ensure that not more than 10% of any particular setup is one-sided, this will ensure that opportunities are spread through our country and through most of the tribes, and that way we will share the national cake in a way that everybody will go home happy, and this will spur something called patriotism. And patriotism is a way of ensuring that you're sovereign as a state. It ensures that it's a part of national security. It comes by default that people will be productive for their country when the patriotism levels are very high. Yes.
So we've just had a small word from the president, and I wanted to ask you, he was speaking about how he's going to engage the youth more on like the X space and whatnot, just trying to be more innovative. Who should lead like the IEBC next on this next electoral process?
That's a very good question you've come up to, because like in our last interview I had mentioned that Gen Zs and through the help of the stewardship of millennials should be allowed to generate the new voting system that should be applied for for the IEBC. And if I look at the history of our country, there's someone who's really come out to say that he's a very straightforward guy. He's very direct, and he's been very bold to oppose some leaders in our country, like the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And he's also gone against Uhuru Kenyatta. And currently he's going against Ruto. And this is one and only Miguna. So I think Miguna, this would be an opportunity for him to show his salt, and if he stands up to what he's been, his tough talk and his tough mantra.
So in your opinion, you think Miguna should be the electoral IEBC leader?
I think he's been consistent in, just turning up the heat on what he feels should be done right, and therefore I feel that he should be given that opportunity to showcase what he's really made of, and to stand up for his consistency and bring out that toughness, because we need someone who believes in being straightforward, and he's been talking tough. Why not be given a tough job where we need tough people to make tough decisions for the society?
He sounds like a good candidate, but I'm sure once we see like a broader field of candidates, maybe we can make a better assumption.
That's a personal take though.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. How will the pressure sustain? Will it yield any result?
Oh, so in this regard, I'd like to read something about what Wahome Dhuku wrote.
And this is from the Gen Z.
Yeah,
How will the pressure sustain?
Yeah.
And will it yield any result? Because as of now,
yes,
we can see small wins. The president has conceded and rescinded the finance bill to Parliament.
Yeah.
We don't know whether the Parliament will scrap it all together, because I don't know whether it's been completely scrapped off.
The trust is not there.
Yeah.
And people find the president to be very cunning.
Okay.
And crafty. So this is what Wahome Dhuku said.
Okay.
Gen Zs, you are a specific group defined by age set and nothing else. You are united by similar interests, desires, challenges, aspirations, motivations, etc. Don't allow yourselves to be grouped and asked to appoint leaders into some amorphous committee or commission, unless you want to be finished or to finish yourselves. Kwanzaa, who will appoint those representatives? When, where, how? Will you vote? Let me tell you why your force has been addressed that fast. It's because you have numbers to send anyone home. Don't allow sideshows, please. And don't allow anyone to sit here, there and claim to represent you. Use your forums to discuss and agree or disagree on the issues you have. You can even invite the entire cabinet to come there and listen and take notes. You are not holding night meetings and you are not meeting behind closed door or in Naivasha. You are online. Let them go and deal with those issues the best way they know how. Give them the practical solutions, but let them go and discuss them in those committees and solve them. Remain troubleless, faceless, and fearless. Anything else you are doomed. So, Mr. Waumedhuku here is basically narrowing down what the Gen Zs should, how they should carry themselves going forward. They've already shown that they are a force to be reckoned with. They can, force changes in the country. What is coming out is that we cannot trust the president, no matter how he wants us to come and discuss. Remember, there was a time he wanted to discuss, and discussions ended with NADCO. So now Gen Zs don't believe or trust in discussions anymore. For them, it's about, hey, how are things being executed? They have laid down their requirements. They have given the president some ultimatums, of which this is the best way to do things. Let him, behave accordingly. Let him step down. Let us start having discussions on how to progress our country forward from there. Because as we speak, the government has lost legitimacy. Because when you lose a financial bill, it is equally saying that we are not confident in the government. Yeah. So the best thing for him to do earlier and better, rather than using so many resources and for him to remain popular, let him step down as soon as possible, so that we can allow all these other things to happen and for everybody to come now on board. Now that's when he will see people's faces. But right now, people are not ready to show their faces because that's their strength. Yeah. When he's calling for people to come and, congregate and start discussing, he's trying to put you in cocoons and boxes so that he can start manipulating and managing you and putting your heads against each other. Okay. Yes.
Expound on jobs abroad, yeah? On foreign jobs and their remunerations, yeah?
So basically why there's this push for guys to go work abroad is because when you go, for example, if you're a software engineer, if you were to competitively get a job in Nairobi, you'd make averagely between 250,000 to 400,000 Kenya shillings. Okay? Okay. That is very competitive. Yeah. Okay. And you'll only be taxed once. Okay? If you go to Germany today as a software engineer with your education in Kenya and found a software engineer in Germany with his education from Deutschland University, for example, if there's one like that, or like Hamburg University, or some of those big high-tech universities, whose certificates would be most competitive? His or yours?
His, definitely.
His, because of the technical aspect of where they went to school and stuff like that. So you're already not competitive in Germany. So the wages that guy will make in Germany are not commensurate to the wages you would make if you went to work in Germany. So in as much as we think that we are going to work for half the price there. So we are going there as cheap labor. So when you hear about, oh, we are getting new jobs abroad, they're getting us jobs abroad, but we are going in compromised already, but we don't know. We think that we are going to get in jobs. But then when you go there, you realize that you may be even more technical, but your university is not as competitive. Therefore, it's not marketed as, your degree is not marketed to be as competitive as that one from Germany. Okay? So the amount of money you make is half the salary of the guy in Germany. And also remember their tax regimes. You're taxed in Germany, and when your revenue comes back to Kenya, it's also taxed again.
Now, there's a question I got on Twitter. Sorry for removing my phone, but
no problem.
I had a question from Twitter. They were asking the fact that we have the dollar as the gold, as the world reserve currency.
Yes.
Why can't we all just be paid in dollars and have one currency? As an economist, can you try and break that down for us before we wind up?
So the reason why the dollar fluctuates is because of demand and supply. So as a nation, if you export more, so people will buy more of your currency to pay you in your currency. But if you import more, the universal currency is the dollar. So you need to buy the dollar for you to make your payments. So that creates a demand on the dollar. So that's what makes the price of the dollar go up. So when the price of the dollar goes up, it becomes expensive to pay using the dollar.
Don't you think it would be more sustainable if we were all just paid in dollars?
So the reason is,
as much as we want to grow our own currencies, if we all just had one currency, without any bureaucracy between, don't you think it would be, so from a Gen Z's perspective? The
reason is we are not a net exporter or a net importer. So we end up, the trade-off is offsetting negatively on importation. So we don't export more. For example, Japan exports more. So they can fluctuate their currency for them to be competitive in exporting, because you'll have to buy the Japanese yen to pay them in the yen. So if they fluctuate their currency, it becomes cheaper to access their currency. So their goods become easier to buy and sell competitively. So it makes them a net exporter. Okay? But since we are a net importer, we cannot fluctuate our shilling. If we fluctuate our shilling, we lose value, we depreciate. Therefore, it will be more expensive to acquire the dollar. Therefore, imports become more expensive, and therefore, the trade-off is when you become a net importer and a net exporter. If you're either or. That's the main reason why
we can't have a general currency.
So, yes, and now that has become the problem globally, and that's why you see things like BRICS coming up. BRICS is the BRICS countries are currently de-dollarizing, and what they're using is they're buying a lot of gold because the dollar is not stable. So they're buying a lot of gold they're changing their foreign reserves from the dollar into gold.
They're going back.
Yeah, so this is happening a lot in China and Russia and also South Africa. So they're doing, and also India as well. So because the dollar is not stable, and also it is what makes the Americans powerful enough so that they can do with the world as they wish. So they feel that is what the Americans can use to hold them by the balls, and therefore they want an alternative way of doing business. And you'll find that the sanctions that were placed on Russia, Russia's economy has grown more because their goods and services in the world are inevitable to, like production costs in Germany have gone up because they cannot access cheap fuel from Russia. It has to go through India, so they acquire it from a company in India. They have sanctioned Russia, but they are still acquiring it. They're buying Russian oil through a conduit in India. So, and you also see that America still did a lot of trade with Russia during the same time when there are sanctions.
So do you think when it's a gold reserve type of system, it would be more fair because more countries would have more gold?
Yes, gold is more stable. The value of gold is stable in the global market, and that's why countries like Zimbabwe, which have really lost value of their currency, are now using their gold to do the global business as a way of putting their currency back into the global, to putting back value into their currency. Yeah, so they're trading with gold now. If you're paying them, you pay them in gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for my final question for today's session, I'd like to ask you to deconstruct the notion that the government can only raise revenue through taxes.
So there are government agencies that have been tasked to raise revenue. I can name from the Kenya Pipeline. I just
Kindly.
Yeah, there's Kenya Pipeline, there's Kenya Ports Authority, there's Kenya Railways, National Oil Corporation, National Trading Corporation, agrochemicals. These ones sell alcohol to all the beverage companies in the country. There are state lodges where you can go and find accommodation and sleep. There's like Kenya Airports Authority. Like you can imagine all the rates you pay at the airport whenever you enter a country. There's so much revenue. There are always flights checking in and out, bringing people in and out of the country. Like the Kenya Literature Bureau, selling all these books in the country. You know, like one kid alone goes to school with 10 new textbooks every year. Okay, do that by the population. The Kenya Seed Company. These are places where we make serious money, you know. National Oil Corporation should have petrol stations around, competing like Total and the Shells and the likes.
Yes.
So, you know, these are opportunities for the country to make money. National Cereals and Produce Board, who should be buying cereals and produce from the farmers and distributing it to where it is needed to the Kenyans. And if there's a surplus, they can keep it and use it to trade at a later date and make a profit for the country. But that doesn't happen. We have sugar companies,
but we all know how
like
the
4, 5, 6, 7 of them. We have the Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
That's a monopoly.
That's a monopoly. We have KenGen, another monopoly. These are just to mention a few. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens? These state corporations are run down intentionally, so that we never get to see their financial reports every year. We don't know how competitive they are. We don't know. So tribalism, you know, dominates in those companies, so that the least competitive people are the people working in those organizations. And it is by design that these organizations are run down, so that they don't be able to generate the revenue that they're supposed to. Okay? For example, the Kenya Ports Authority. There's so much money it generates for the country, but we are not told about these figures. Yeah? Even if you compare the amount of tax that they generate for the government, is maybe a fifth of the revenue that they generate on their own on behalf of the government. For example, the Kenya Pipeline. Yeah? It fuels the nation. And every time that machine is pumping fuel, it's making money. It's not for free.
Yeah.
And you pay for it every time you buy fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can you tell me that state corporation makes losses? Yeah. Kenya Seed Company is a monopoly. Yeah. So, you know,
most of these corporations are monopolies, yeah?
And the reason why our forefathers
or industries rather.
Yes. Yeah. And the reason why our forefathers created these industries as monopolies were for them to secure our interests as Kenyans, that, you know, foreign agencies will not occupy the resources of production and consumption for us to be beggars in our own country, so that we can be able to produce goods and services for ourselves and also generate revenue from our own activities inside our own country.
So, Jesse, just to conclude, what do you think would constitute as a good remedy to cure, what do you think the 2023 finance bill would benefit the youth right now as we're speaking, as opposed to the one that we've scrapped off?
I'd say nothing.
Absolutely nothing?
I don't see where it puts the Gen Z or the millennial first.
So this year is complete waste?
It's complete waste because the ideas that were set out have not even been pursued. So even the resources that were set aside, even just for the projects that were set aside to do,
yeah,
they have not been materialized.
Do you think the president, with the time left, in case he gets to finish his term,
yeah,
do you think he can be able to turn it around, in your opinion, economically?
I think he'll become worse. Now that he's seen the face of rebellion and rejection, I think he's going to rule with an iron fist, just like Moi did after 1982 coup. He became someone else. He became so insecure, so protective. People couldn't discuss politics. He had spies all over. He had people just manning every discussion, every thought, every narrative that we were independent on our own to create. So I think we're going to regress if we don't succeed with our cause.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This has been a discussion between a Gen Z and a millennial. I have been Sydney.
And my name is Jesse.
Thank you very much.
Bye.